I am teaching Tess how to windsurf. This is her first class. This is the front of the board, which is rounded, and the back of the board, which is squared off. That can also be called the nose and the tail if you're a surfer, or the bow and the stern if you're a sailor. I'm showing Tess the center board, which allows the board to go upwind, and that's really good for when you're learning to learn with a long board like that with a center board. So you have the rig, and the rig is made up of the sail, the mast, the boom, and the uphaul line. So here's Tess. She's getting up on the board first without the rig, just to get her sea legs. I'm teaching she should look in the distance out over the front of the board. That's the way that should go. Yeah, so she's getting her balance now, getting her sea legs, and absorbing the waves in her knees. The foot placement's very important. She should have her front foot right against the mast base, and her back foot should be shoulder width apart. So she's just getting her balance here first. The idea is to absorb the waves in your knees. So now she's going to try getting on and pulling up the sail after I show her how to do that. Now, to pull the sail out of the water, you want to use your leverage by leaning back a little bit. So you climb up on the board first, and to do that, you can either put your stomach on the board and put your knees up, or you can jump up side saddle. And when you pull the sail up, you want the mast to be right angles to the board. See how I'm demonstrating that? You want the mast to come out of the water at right angles to the board. So I am demonstrating that right now. Standing up and getting the uphaul line, stretching out the uphaul line, and then leaning back so that I have the leverage to pull the sail up. Once it clears the water, I go into the starting position, which is the front hand on the mast, and the sail coming off at perpendicular to the board. That's called the starting position. That's the first thing that you want to learn, is the starting position. So here's Tess doing it. She's got her front foot up first. She's getting the uphaul line. She's got long legs. I'm going to have her put her foot behind the center board once we get going here. She's pulling up the sail at right angles to the board. The mast is at right angles to the board. And she's going to hold on to the mast under the boom and keep the sail in the center, equally distant from the front and the back. And very important is looking out over the bow, over the front of the board, into the distance. That's how you keep your balance, by looking in the right direction. So she's practicing right now the starting position, which is very important, because if you can't maintain the starting position, then you don't have enough control to maneuver the board around into the position for sailing, which will be in the second half of the lesson. So here she is again in the starting position, and she's maintaining starting. That's your first exercise, and that's the first drill, which is to maintain starting position. Okay, so she's got that down now, maintaining starting. There's two starting positions. One is with the board facing out to the bay, and the other one is with the board facing back to shore. But we are learning the starting position facing out to the bay first. Okay, so I'm demonstrating pulling up the sail, getting into the starting position, and I am showing her now how to steer the board. Even though we're not sailing, we have to learn how to steer. We're not sailing yet, we're not underway, but we still can steer the board by maneuvering the rig. So when you lean the rig to the back of the board goes upwind. And when you lean the sail to the front of the board goes downwind. And that's how you steer it. And you have to know how to maintain the starting position, because that's the position you want to be in before you actually sail. So you've got to learn how to control that first. This is the first half of the lesson. We do not sail in the first half of the lesson. We only learn how to do the starting position, how to steer, and how to turn. Okay, so she's now balancing in the starting position, as you can see. And she's looking over the bow, which is very good. And she's going to practice steering. Okay, I am just holding the board a little bit. I'm not letting it go too far away. It's quite a windy day. So if she leans the sail to the back of the board will turn up into the wind, into the direction the wind's coming from. And then back to the starting position, maintain starting, that's very important. And now she's going to lean the sail to the front of the board, and the board's going to start turning downwind. And now she's going to go back to the starting position and maintain the starting position. You can see there now that her foot is behind the centerboard knob, which is good. So she's getting her sea legs. You don't want to pull the rig too close to you or you go backwards. You want to have it just out of the water. Yeah, there we go. It's the starting position. And it's a little wavy in the bay, but it is protected. It's just like a lake in the bay. There's beautiful sandy beaches here on Culebra, but the best place to learn is in the bay, actually. There she goes, leaning the sail to the front of the board, which makes the board go downwind. And now she's leaning the sail to the back of the board, which makes the board go upwind. See, you lean it to the back and it starts to go up into the eye of the wind, where the wind's coming from. This is how to steer the board. Before you learn to sail, you have to learn how to steer, and you have to learn how to turn around. You learn how to turn around and make a 180-degree turn before you learn how to sail. Well, she's still working with her sea legs and getting the hang of it. So I sailed back upwind again because we did drift quite a ways during that first part of the lesson where she learned the starting position and how to steer. Now we are going to do a turn, a 180-degree turn, a downwind turn, which if you're a sailor, you know that's a jibe. That's our camera girl, Alana. She was holding the camera for me, doing a great job. And so we walked upwind. They walked upwind, I sailed upwind. And now she's going to be learning how to do the downwind turn, also known as a jibe. So this part of the lesson, of course, we're laughing and having a good time, as you can see. So I'm going to demonstrate how to pull the sail up one more time using your body weight, then getting into the starting position, holding the mast at right angles to the board. There I am in the starting position. So I'm going to demonstrate a turn, a downwind turn, a 180 turn. You sweep the mast, the whole rig, right over the bow, over the front of the board. You take small steps with your weight equal on both feet behind the sail. Now the board's facing the other way. It just made a 180 turn. Fix your feet going the other way and get in the starting position, going back towards the island. Okay, now we're going to have Tess do it. She's going to climb right up there, pull the sail up again. This is her very first lesson. Starting position. Maintain your starting position. So she's going to do the downwind turn now. She's going to sweep the sail over the bow. And as she does that, it's going to start to turn. And she's going to walk around the back of the board, keeping her weight equal on both feet. And then she's going to get her feet correct, because that's not correct. Now she has to correct her feet, see? Front foot next to the mast base. Okay, she just did a downwind turn the first time. Very good. Okay, so now she's going to do another one. She's going to, oh, not right now, I guess. We're going to talk about it a little bit here. Explain certain things about the technique. You do not want to have your weight on your heels, because that will cause you to fall backwards. So she is now getting up on the board and is going to do another downwind turn. So here we go. I teach the downwind turn first when it's very windy because it's just easier for people to jibe. It's called jibing. She's going to do another jibe, leaning the sail to the front of the board and walking around the back. That's what I think she's going to be doing here. Okay, she's in the starting position, practicing that first. And let's see now. Keeping her sea legs, absorbing the waves in her knees. And there she goes into the downwind turn. Sweeping the sail, which moves the board, and then you follow with your feet. She's pretty far forward on the board. I want her to be much farther back. So I'm explaining to her to be farther back. She did fall in, which is good, so that you can see that you can fall in. Nothing bad happens to you. And she's going to get up again and pull the sail out of the water again. And she's going to do the downwind turn another time. You have to do about 7 of these downwind turns before you really get the hang of it. She's walking to the back of the board now. Much better. And the foot placement is better. And she got her back foot back. Excellent. It was a good downwind turn. Okay, so I'm going to sail back upwind to the dock again. And we are going to practice, keep on practicing what we've learned so far. The first half of the lesson. Oh, nope, I guess I'm going to do the downwind turn again. That's fine. I'm demonstrating it again. See how far back on the board I'm walking? That is good. That will really turn the board fast. And now I'm sailing in. Okay. So this is just a 15-minute abridged edition of the first half of the first lesson. So we're going to show you again how good Tess is getting the downwind turn. And there she goes, walking to the back of the board. Excellent. And you want to look out over the bow after the turn. And hang on with the front hand on the mast. Not the back hand, the front hand. Very good. Excellent. All right. So I'm explaining to her about spotting, because you want to look out over the bow, because that's always where you're going. Okay, she's going to do another downwind turn. You can see the mast going over the bow. She walks to the back of the board. The board spins, and you let the board spin under you. You move your feet, and now she's spotted very good back out to the middle of the bay again. Okay, so now I'm sailing back up to the dock, and we're going to do some actual sailing with the rig on the dock so that she can practice putting her hands on the boom. There's Lolly. She's usually with me. And here's the dock. I went under to see what's going on under there, under the dock. There's so much beautiful life everywhere in Culebra. It's pretty sponges on the pilings. And just say hello to the fish. And then back up on the dock again. We're going to practice sailing on the dock first before we do it in the water. So she can learn the boom placement of your hands on the boom. So what we're doing here is I'm demonstrating that you have to bring the mast up, and then you have to hold on to the boom. So we're practicing on the land first. Bring the mast up, put your hand on the boom, and we're having fun. Put your mast up, put your hand on the boom, put your other hand on the boom, and then sheet in which is a sailing term for pulling the sail towards you. If it gets heavy, you let go. So she's going to pull on the boom and drop her weight. Very important to drop your weight and look out over the distance. All right, that's the first half.